How to create foam board prints. Remember your name and teacher code. On a small foam board, you'll use a pencil to create either repeating lines and patterns or an abstract design of your choice. Make sure that you're pressing down enough that you're creating an indentation on the board. You'll be able to see it and kind of feel it with your fingers, and you're going to be filling the front and the back with unique designs. Remember, just stick with lines and patterns or an abstract design. You will need a large piece of the kind of slippery thick paper, and you're going to X one side, and that just helps you to know what side you're putting down on paint, and you'll get to choose up to 3 colors of paint that you know mix well by referring to the color wheel. Then you're just going to use a brush and add a layer of paint on there. You don't want it to be too thick, but you also don't want it to be too thin. And this might take some experimenting. You could add a little bit of water to your brush to see what kind of effect that creates as well. But once again, you don't want too much water or too much paint. This might take a little bit of practice, but no matter what your print looks like, it will still be unique and interesting. You want to make sure that your entire foam board is completely covered in paint. Then carefully pick it up and flip it over. Imagine it is kind of like a really flat, large stamp. Place it up in a corner or next to an edge, and then I place the X side down so that every time I do this, I am keeping the paintier side facing my paper, and gently rub the back of your foam plate with the paper on top. Set your paper aside for later and carefully lift up to see what your print looks like. You're going to repeat the same process. I stuck with the same side or same design. This time I'm just experimenting by adding a little bit more water with my paint to create a different outcome. Every time you make a print, you want to see how different you can make it. And it's also best not to randomly just place down your foam plate. They should be lined up with kind of an edge or a corner. Then carefully place your foam board on your paper wherever you choose, next to an edge or corner, and use that piece of paper X side down and gently rub the back of your foam plate. As you'll be able to see, the water causes the paint to spread out differently, but you can still see the print and the design. It just looks different, which that's what we're going for. Next, I'll use the other side of my foam plate and continue the same process. You can also create tints on black paper on our second day, and you can overlap different designs with different colors to create even more unique outlines. You could even do this on your original white sheet of paper as well. Here what I'm doing is I'm adding paint to the same design that's already on my paper, but I'm turning my foam board so that it's a different direction than what's already on there, and then I'm overlapping them. You can also do a ghost print by using whatever remaining paint is on there from the print you just did and pressing it down onto a surface, and it's going to look kind of faded or aged. Really neat thing that you could also try out. At cleanup time, place your art on the drying rack. If you happen to have 2 pieces of paper, use a larger piece of cardboard and put them both on the same piece of cardboard to save space on the drying rack. Then don't forget to place the paper you use to kind of protect your hand a little bit in the trash along with your paint. Toss that too. And then if you're done making prints, you get to decide if you keep it or toss it. Just remember when you're creating your different prints to try out all sorts of different techniques to see how many different varieties and outcomes that you can come up with.